Okay, this problem says to use the limit definition of a derivative, and we're trying to find f prime of 5 of this function. So first of all, the limit definition of a derivative is the limit as h approaches 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. There's a few different ways to write this limit definition, but this is the most common. So if we plug in our function into this formula, we get the limit as h approaches 0 of the function with x plus h. We just need to plug in for x. We'll plug in x plus h into there. So that would be the square root of 4 plus 5 times x plus h. And then we subtract out f of x, which is just the function itself, and then divide by h. So this is a bit of a bear to simplify. Let's first just distribute our 5, and we get the limit as h approaches 0 of the square root of 4 plus 5x plus 5h minus the square root of 4 plus 5x all over h. From here, what we need to do to simplify is to multiply by the conjugate of our radicals. So we'll take these two terms and we'll multiply top and bottom by these same two terms, except instead of subtracting them, we'll add them because that makes it the conjugate. And what we do to the top, we have to do to the bottom. So 4 plus 5x plus 5h. Oh, this should have been an h here. 1 second. There we go. And then it's plus on the bottom as well, because that's what we're multiplying on top and bottom. Okay. So now when we distribute, the top and bottom is like the difference of squares formula. So I'm going to use the difference of squares formula in reverse. It'll just be the first two terms will be like squaring each other. So it'll just get rid of the square root, is the 4 plus 5x plus 5h, and not square rooted because the square roots cancel each other out. And then the outer term and the inner term would cancel out since one's plus and one's minus. And then would be minus multiplying the last two terms. So the 4 plus 5x, again, the square roots get canceled out. So we're left with h times, because I'm not going to distribute the denominator, and I'll show you why in just a second. 4 plus 5x plus 5h plus square root of 4 plus 5x. Okay, so now I'm going to distribute this negative and get the limit as h approaches 0 of 4 plus 5x plus 5h, and then distributing the negative makes both of those negative, over h times the square root of 4 plus 5x plus 5h plus the square root of 4 plus 5x. Okay, so now in my numerator, this 4 and this minus 4 cancels out. This 5x and this minus 5x cancels out. So what I have left is the limit as h approaches 0 of the whole numerator goes to 5h, and the denominator is h times the square root of 4 plus 5x plus 5h plus the square root of 4 plus 5x. Okay, so now this h that I left in the factored form will cancel with this h in the numerator. So that was my whole goal of doing all of this distributing, was to be able to cancel that h out of the denominator, since if I just plug in a 0, it would have made my denominator go to 0. So now what I have is the limit as h approaches 0 of 5 over the square root of 4 plus 5x plus 5h plus the square root of 4 plus 5x. And now, since plugging in a 0 no longer makes my denominator go to 0, I can plug in a 0 for every h in my function. So that will make 5 over, and I'm not writing my limit this time because I'm doing my substitution. Square root of 4 plus 5x, this term is going to 0, and then plus the square root of 4 plus 5x. Okay, so now that I've gotten rid of my h's, this is my derivative. So this is my, sorry, not h, but f. This is my f prime of x, my function. But the question is asking for f prime of 5. So I need to plug in 5 in for my values of x to do that. So I get f prime of 5 is equal to 5 over the square root of 4 plus 5 times 5 plus the square root of 4 plus 5 times 5 again. So this is 5 over 4. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. So that would be the square root of 29, and then another square root of 29. So then if I add square root of 29 plus the square root of 29 is 2 root 29. It's 5 over 2 root 29. But technically I shouldn't leave a radical in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by root 29. And that gives me 5 root 29 over 2 times 29, which 2 times 29 is 58. So this would be my final answer. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and subscribe to my channel, like and share to help others if they have questions.